summoning 3 slime members, the ball, octopus-shaped Gentoham Usher, I think that's pronounced it, I don't know. The bubbly seahorse-shaped Surintendant or something like that.
Gentilhomme.
Gentoham
Surintendant.
Surintendant. Hey guys, how's it going? It's Trieyx here, back with Genshin Impact Idiot's Guide to playing whatever character. So yeah, in today's video we're learning how to play Furina. And Furina is a character I've been wanting to learn for a very long time now. I heard that she's really good, and not only that, but I really like her character and the design, so I'm like, I kinda want to play her, but I didn't really know how to play her. So in today's video I'm finally gonna learn how she works and how to play her, so yeah, I'm super excited about that. But yeah, like always, I'm gonna let my past self explain how the series works because I don't know how to explain it to you guys, so take it away, past self. The thing about this series that's gonna be completely different than other people's guides, like other YouTubers' guides and whatnot, is the fact that I'm going into these videos blind with no real knowledge on how to play the character whatsoever. The funny thing is that I'm actually not making this video for you guys. I'm kind of making this video or this series for myself, hence the title An Idiot's Guide. Like, I'm the idiot who's making the guide. That's what I mean when I say this series actually for me. And I'm trying to learn how each character works in this game. That way I'll be a little bit better at this game because I'm kind of a scrub. And then I thought, why not make content out of it? It's kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone. But not only am I forcing myself to learn how to play these characters, I'm also making a guide for you guys to learn as well with me. So this entire series kind of just me learning, and then you guys seeing the process of how I learn, and maybe that'll help you guys learn how to play a character as well. That's what I mean when I say this series is going to be a little bit more unique compared to other content creators, because usually when it comes to other content creators, they are kind of experts. They kind of know how the characters work, like the in and out and everything like that. But for me, I had no idea how these characters work. I'm gonna learn on video with you guys, and maybe you guys can learn with me. Yeah, hopefully the series help you guys out. Alright, so now that you guys know how the series works, let's get into learning her kit. First things first, let's start with her talents. Let's start with a normal attack. So she does 4 consecutive strikes for a normal attack. For a charge attack, she consumes a certain amount of stamina to unleash a solo dance, dealing physical damage to nearby opponents and changing her arc alignment. I think I pronounced it arc or something like that, I have no idea. If Salon members or the singers of many waters summoned by her elemental skill, Salon Solitaire, is present, their lineup will switch in response. What's different about Furina's charge attack is that she actually kind of changes forms, I guess. So right now you see Furina and she has short hair. If you use a charge attack, she will switch to a different form and she have longer hair. I haven't really played the Fontaine story yet.
Hideous. He makes me sick just looking at him.
So I don't really know why she does that. But please no spoilers, I'll get to it eventually. But I think it's kind of cool how she has 2 different forms, so I kind of like that. But in terms of Arc, Seek, Sacred, and Secular, I'm not sure it's Arc or Arc Key or something like that, I don't know, man. I'm just gonna pronounce it as Arc, and you guys can correct me in the comments. At intervals when Furina's normal attacks hit, a Spirit Breath, Thorn, or Surging Blade was ascended based on her current Arc alignment, dealing Pneuma or Osea aligned Hydro damage. When Furina takes the field, her starting Arc alignment will be Osea. Hopefully about that way, I'm like really bad pronouncing this stuff. So having explored the world a little bit, I know that Pneuma and Osea is kind of like 2 different elements or something like that you need to use to explore, I think. I haven't gotten time to really learn how that works. Alright, so basically what this means is that when Furina does her normal attack, there's some sort of thorn or blade that will descend, dealing hydro damage to an enemy depending on her form, whether it's Pneuma or Osea. And when Furina takes the field, she automatically starts in Osea alignment. I'm not sure how it determines whether she's in Pneuma or Osea. I'm assuming it depends on what form she's in. Like maybe when she has like short hair, she is in Osea, and then when she is in long hair form, she is in Pneuma alignment, I guess. It doesn't really say exactly which alignment is which form, but I'm assuming that's the case because she starts off in Osea and her character starts with like short hair. I'm assuming that's Osea form. I do know that her elemental skill does change depending on what form she's in, so I'll get to that later on in this video. But in terms of punching attacks, she does AoE damage. But yeah, that's the same with everybody, so yeah, it doesn't really matter. But in terms of her skill attributes, these are the percentages at level 6. But the only thing to note when it comes to Furina's normal attack is the Spirit Breath Thorn and the Surging Blade damage. That's a new mechanic for her character. But the damage she does with Spirit Breath Thorn / Surging Blade is 13.8% at level 6. And when it comes to the damage interval, it's 6 seconds. Every 6 seconds when using Furina's normal attack, she does a Spirit Breath Thorn or Surging Blade. And that does hydro damage, so it's kind of similar to like Xinqiu's or like Yelan's burst, where it does have like the little swords or whatever doing hydro damage to the enemy. Except for Furina, hers is in her normal attack, and it doesn't really happen as often. I'm not sure how many blades it does. I'm not sure if it's like 1 or the multiple, like Xinqiu and Yelan. So I'm gonna test that out and see, but I'm assuming it's probably only 1 because they didn't really specify how many blades she does or how many thorns she does. Yeah, that's what I'm assuming anyway, but I'm definitely gonna test it out and see. But when it comes to her elemental skill, she invites a guest of the Salon Solitaire to come forth and aid in Furina's performance. Will summon either the Salon members or the singer of many waters based on Furina's current arc alignment. So yeah, that's what I was saying before, how depending on the form, her elemental skill changes. So in one form, she has a whole bunch of like group of members, and they attack the enemies and apply hydro. Whether in her long hair form or I guess Pneuma form, her elemental skill heals your party or heals the active member in the field, I think. I don't really know, but I guess I'll continue reading and see how that works. But in Osea alignment, pumping bubbles like Cerebrants shall dance, dealing AoE hydro damage based on Furina's max HP, and summoning 3 slime members, the ball, octopus shape, Gentoham Usher, I think that's pronounced it, I don't know. The bubbly seahorse shape, Sir Intendant, or something like that.
Gentilhomme.
Gentoham
Surintendant.
Sir Intendant. Oh my god, I'm butchering all these names and you guys are probably cringing right now. And she also summons an armored crab, Mademoiselle Craboletta. That's the only one I think I can pronounce, and they will attack nearby opponents at intervals, prioritizing the target of the active character, dealing hydro damage based on max HP. So yeah, when it comes to Furina, she scales off of max HP, so when you're trying to decide on which weapon you want to use on her or what kind of artifact stats you want on her, you definitely want to focus more on HP percentage as well as plain HP. When they attack, if a character with more than 50% HP are nearby, the members will increase their current attack power based on the number of such characters, and consume said character's HP. If 1, 2, 3, 4 or more characters meet these requirements, the members' attack will deal 110%, 120%, 130%, 140% of the original damage. Alright, so how the skill works is that the amount of damage that Furina's summons do is based off of how much HP your party has. If your party has more than 50% HP, the amount of damage they do increases as well, and when they attack, they consume the party's HP. So depending on how many party members have over 50% HP, you guys see down there the percentages, that's how much damage it'll do. So if one party member has over 50% HP, and if nobody else has more than 50% HP, then it'll do 110% damage. And if more than 2 people have 50% HP, then it'll do 120% damage, and so on and so forth. Yeah, I believe if nobody has over 50% HP, it's 100% damage. So basically does the normal amount of damage. So to basically summarize it, every character in the party that's over 50% HP increases the damage of Furina's summons by 10%. So when it comes to Furina teams, you definitely want to bring a healer with you. That way her skill right over here can do the max amount of damage possible by keeping party members over 50% HP. Not to mention that her skill does consume the party's HP, so you definitely want to have some sort of healer to heal the characters, because you don't want to have characters that have less than 50% HP, otherwise you die. So having a healer in Furina teams definitely is a must. So you guys want to run characters like Kokomi, Jean, Barbara, whatever healer characters you guys have, and depending on the party you guys are running. So yeah, this is what her skill does in her Osea state, so basically in her short hair form and base form, whatever you guys want to call it. So yeah, when it comes to her Numa form, she summons a Singer of Many Waters who will heal nearby active characters based on the max HP at intervals. So basically, like I said before, in her Numa form, she can heal characters, and it says that it'll heal nearby active characters based on the max HP of, I'm assuming, Furina, or maybe the max HP of the active character. I'm not exactly sure. It didn't specify max HP of Furina, it just says based on max HP, and based on the wording, I think it is healing the only character on the field. I could be wrong. I'm still kind of learning the lingo when it comes to this game. I'll test it out and see, but that's what I'm thinking anyway. The Salon members and Singer of Many Waters share a duration, and when Furina uses her charge attack to change the guest type, the new guest will inherit the remaining duration. While the Salon members or the Singer of Many Waters on the field, Furina can move on the water surface. But yeah, her summons share duration, so if you guys change form midway through, the summons will inherit whatever duration is left, but that isn't too much of a problem because Furina's skill kind of lasts very long. I think the duration of the summons lasts longer than the cooldowns. You can keep this elemental skill up forever. Yeah, and also when she uses her skill, she can walk on water. But this skill right here kind of power creeps Kokomi's walking on water elemental burst. When it comes to Kokomi, you need her elemental burst in order to walk on water, whereas when it comes to Furina, all you need to do is use her elemental skill, and her elemental skill, like I said before, kind of lasts very long, so she can walk on water forever. You never have to worry about falling into the water ever again when it comes to Furina, so this is really cool. And it's kind of cool to see an exploration kind of talent when it comes to characters other than animal characters. Yeah, it kind of makes sense too, because she's the Hydro Archon to be able to walk on water. So I'm really hoping to see more of these exploration talents for future characters or exploration quality of life stuff. Yeah, as you guys see over here, this is how much damage she does with her skill. Every single damage formula is based off of Furina's max HP, and also shows how much HP her summons consume per attack, I believe. And when it comes to the healing of Furina's Singer of Many Water thingy, it's a 6.72% of the max HP plus 732. I've been using Furina for a little bit, and she's not really built yet, but her healing is pretty good. Like, it's not the greatest, I guess, but it's pretty good. But like I said before, I haven't really built her yet, so I'll have to see once I finally get the right stuff on her to see how much her healing does. But I kind of like how Furina is kind of like a hybrid character, where she can either be like a damage dealer or a healer, which is great. But it is kind of annoying that you have to push her form in order to switch what her skill does. But yeah, I'll get over it. Having characters that can do two things in one is really cool. And when it comes to her duration, like I said before, her duration of the skill lasts longer than a cooldown. It's 30 seconds for a duration and 20 seconds for a cooldown, so you can keep the skill up forever. Like, it's crazy. I really wish other characters have stuff like this. Can you imagine Kokomi's like jellyfish lasting forever? That'd be crazy, man. That's basically what Furina is. She basically like Kokomi. Her healing healing skill, kind of same thing as hers, where she places it on the field and it just kind of stays there. But I think Kokomi's healing is a little bit better because Kokomi is really more so known as a healer, whereas Furina is kind of like a hybrid, so they can't really make the healing too powerful, otherwise she'd be like power creeping everybody. But even so, it's really cool. I love this hybrid build, and I really hope other characters have this hybrid type build in the future. But when it comes to Elemental Burst, she rouses the impulse to revel, creating a stage of foam that deal AoE hydro damage based off of Furina's max HP and cause nearby party members to enter the universal revelry state. Yeah, I struggle saying that, like oh my god, my Asian accent made it so hard to say.
Why so weak? So weak.
During this time, when nearby party members' HP increases or decreases, one fanfare point will be granted to Furina for each percentage point of their max HP by which the HP changes. At the same time, Furina will increase the damage dealt by an incoming healing bonus of all party members based on the amount of fanfare points she has. When the duration ends, Furina's fanfare points will be cleared. Alright, so what this means is that when Furina uses her skill, she does AoE hydro damage based off on her HP, and then it makes it so everybody in the party is in the universal revelry state, and when each party member is in this state, Furina gains 1 fanfare point per each percentage point a character's HP increases or decreases. So if someone in your party had their HP increased by 10%, then she gains 10 fanfare points. If they lose 10% HP, she also gets 10 fanfare points. So it doesn't matter what happened to your HP, she will gain fanfare points. Unless your HP stays the same, she gains nothing. I think it's kind of cool how you don't really get punished whether you lose HP or gain HP. And depending on how much fanfare points she has, it increases the amount of damage dealt, and as well as increases the amount of healing bonus of all party members. I'm not sure what it means when it says increase the amount of damage dealt. Does it mean that increase the amount of damage dealt by the active character, or does it increase the amount of damage dealt by her skill? I'm assuming it increases the amount of damage dealt by whatever characters on the field. So it's kind of like a universal buff, and not just like buffing herself. Cause I guess Furina is kind of like an all-field type of character. I guess it wouldn't make any sense for it to buff Furina. I think it buffs the active character, or I guess like buffs the entire party. And when this skill is over, Furina loses all of her fanfare points. Yeah, I think that's how this skill works. I'm not really smart when it comes to this game, so what I know, right? But I think this is what it means. So definitely let me know if I got anything wrong. When it comes to her skill attributes, when she uses a skill, it's a 60% of the max HP of Furina, and then the duration lasts for 18 seconds. The cooldown is 15 seconds, so it does last 3 seconds over. You can kind of use the skill forever, but you have to use it in 3 seconds. You gotta use it really quickly in order to have this forever. But yeah, I'm not sure if you use the skill forever, does Furina keep her fanfare points, or does it always reset every single time? But for example, let's say I use Furina's Unmei Burst and I use it again before the cooldown ends. Do I keep the fanfare points, or does it reset? And the maximum amount of fanfare you can get is 300, and the amount of damage increase when it comes to each fanfare point is 0.17%. So if I remember, I'll put how much percent the increase is. When it comes to the healing bonus, it's 0.06%. I'll have to put that up as well. The cooldown is 15 seconds, and energy cost is 60, so that's relatively low when it comes to Elemental Burst. So yeah, when it comes to Furina's kit, they kind of made her so she can kind of use her skill infinitely. I feel like how they kind of built her, and the fact that energy cost is so low, meaning that you can use her burst relatively quickly too. That's crazy, man. I love when skills and bursts, the duration lasts longer than the cooldown. And being able to use skills infinitely is so awesome. It's not broken, but it's definitely very OP for sure. So I can see why Furina is so good. She is not only a hydro applier, but she also is a healer. She also is a buffer. It's crazy. I can see why she's so good, and why she's kind of so needed in a lot of teams, or at least needed in a lot of recent teams, especially since I really like Furina. I definitely want to use her a lot more in a lot of parties, so I'm just glad she's really good. Then again, she is an Archon. Archon are usually really good, so it makes sense why she's so good. But in terms of passive talent, Endless Waltz, an active character in your party receives healing. If the source of the healing is not Furina herself, and the healing overflows, then Furina will heal nearby party members for 2% of the max HP once every 2 seconds for the next 4 seconds. So what this talent means is that if a party member in your party gets healed by anyone other than Furina, if the healing goes over the amount of HP they have, like let's say they have max HP and you get healed again, Furina will use that extra healing to heal your other party members for 2% of the max HP once every 2 seconds for the next 4 seconds. So basically that means she heals twice. She heals 4% at most. So I guess it doesn't really matter how much HP you get healed by when you have max HP. She just heals 2% of the max HP of the party members every 2 seconds for the next 4 seconds. I kind of wish that the extra healing that kind of get wasted applies towards this as well. It unfortunately doesn't. I think it just stays the same, like 2% of the max HP of the character. So that kind of stinks, but at the same time, this skill is actually really cool, because sometimes you're like using a character and you kind of get the extra healing, but you don't really need it, and you don't want to switch to another character to heal them. But with Furina's passive talent, it allows you to heal the other party members anyway, even though it's not too much, but it's something, right? It definitely comes in clutch in certain situations, so yeah, I'll definitely take it for sure. But in terms of Furina's other passive talent, Unheard Confession, every 1000 point of Furina's max HP can buff the different arc alignment Salon Solitaire in the following ways. Will increase the Salon damage dealt by 0.7% up to a maximum of 28%, and will decrease the Singer of Many Waters healing interval for nearby active characters by 0.4% up to a maximum of 16%. Alright, so what this skill means is that every 1000 points of Furina's HP will increase the amount of damage dealt by her Salon members and also decreases the healing interval of her skill. You can max out this skill when Furina has 40,000 HP. So when it comes to Furina, you definitely want to aim towards that. That way you can take advantage of this buff to the maximum. I believe it's 40,000 HP. I could be wrong. Maybe my math was off, but I think it's 40,000 HP. That's basically like the golden number when it comes to Furina. But yeah, it's doable. 40,000 HP definitely is a lot. But when you're focusing on max HP, it should be pretty easy. But yeah, I think my Nilou is like 30,000 HP. And I didn't really try. So when it comes to Furina, it should be pretty easy to get 40,000 HP. So yeah, not only does her party members' HP buff her Salon members' damage, but she also buffs up Salon member damage based on how much HP she has. It also makes it so healing can heal faster and more often. It definitely makes it even a better healer. I invited her for a passive talent. The C is my stage. Xenochromatic Fontermer Aberrant ability. Its cooldown decreases by 30%. I don't know what the heck this is. It didn't really say what it is. I checked over here, looked at the names, and none of the names matches that. I also checked like the skills or whatnot. I don't see anything with that name. Yeah, I have no idea what that even is, but I guess it's cool, I guess. If I know what it is, I'll put it on the screen for you guys. Yeah, it didn't really say what it is. Alright, so now we're done with her talents. Let's get into her constellations. For her C1, when using the Let People Rejoice, which is her elemental burst, Furina will gain 150 fanfare. Additionally, Furina's fanfare limit increased by 100. Her maximum was 300, but her C1 would be 400, and when she uses her burst, she'll gain 150 fanfare automatically, which originally when you use a skill, you have 0. That's actually 150 right there. So that's a pretty good buff right there. But I don't think it's anything crazy. I don't think it really changes too much, but then again, what do I know, right? I have no idea. Maybe that's like a huge buff. But when it comes to the C2, I'll let people rejoice last, or her elemental burst. Furina's fanfare gain from increases or decreases in nearby character's HP increased by 250%. Each point of fanfare above the limit will increase Furina's max HP by 0.35%. Her maximum HP increase is 140%. Alright, so what this means is that when she uses her elemental burst, an increased amount of fanfare points you get when your character increases or decreases in HP, it increased by 250%. And each fanfare point above the limit, I'm assuming at this point is 400 since you have C2, any fanfare point over 400 will increase Furina's max HP by 0.35% or 0.35%. And her maximum HP increase is 140%. So I'm assuming what that means is that her max HP cannot be increased more than like 40% of her max HP to make it 140%, because if her max HP increase is over 140%, that means she'll have a lot of HP. And it's kind of crazy. I don't think it's possible. So I think the 100% is the actual max HP, and you can gain an extra 40% on top of that. But when it comes to the wording of these skills and constellations, it's very hard because sometimes they don't really explain things well, and sometimes they kind of leave things vague. So I have no idea if that's what they mean or not. I kind of wish they explained these things a little bit better. Basically, that's what I'm assuming it is, but yeah, I don't know. Like, definitely let me know if I'm wrong, but when it comes to C3, it increases her elemental burst by 3, and maximum upgrade is 15, so nothing too crazy. And when it comes to her C4, when the Salon members from the Salon Solitaire hits an opponent, or the Singer of Many Waters restored HP to nearby active characters, Furina will restore 4 energy. This effect can be triggered once every 5 seconds. So basically what this means is that when Furina skills hits an enemy or heals a party member, she will gain 4 energy. But it's really good because she only needs 60 energy to use a burst, which means that with this constellation, you use a burst a lot easier. And this effect can only be triggered once every 5 seconds. And her elemental skill lasts for 30 seconds. So at most, if you don't use the elemental skill again, this can trigger 6 times. She can gain 24 energy if you don't use a skill again. Obviously, if you use a skill again, because the duration lasts longer than the cooldown, and this constellation will go on forever. But I'm assuming you only use a skill 1 time, it can only activate 6 times. At most, you gain 24 energy. That's pretty good. That's almost half of what you need to use elemental burst again. Yeah, like it's pretty good. When it comes to her C5, it increases her skill by 3. Maximum upgrade is 15, so nothing too crazy, but when it comes to her C6, when using Salon Solitaire, Furina gains Center of Attention for 10 seconds. Throughout the duration, Furina's normal attacks, charge attacks, and plunging attacks are converted into hydro damage, which cannot be overridden by any other elemental infusion. Alright, so I didn't really explain what Center of Attention even is, but maybe I'll explain it more if I read a little bit more longer. But yeah, so far with a C6, her normal attacks and everything like that, we convert it into hydro damage. And it doesn't matter which elemental infusion you apply on her, she will always deal hydro damage. If you try to use like a C6 Bennett, to change her attack to Pyro, it doesn't matter, she will still do hydros. And damage is also increased by an amount equivalent of 18% of Furina's max HP. So her damage also increased by 18% of her max HP, like her normal attacks, charge attacks, and punching attacks. And throughout the duration, Furina's normal attacks, not including arc, seat, sacred, and secular attacks, charge attacks, and impact of plunging attacks will cause different effects up to 0.1 seconds after hitting opponents depending on her current arc alignment. Man, this Constellation is so long, but if she's in the OC alignment, every 1 second, all nearby characters in the party will be healed by 4% of Furina's max HP for a duration of 2.9 seconds. Triggering this effect will extend its duration. And if she's in the Pneuma alignment, this normal attack, not including arc, seat, sacred, and secular attacks, charge attacks, or plunging attacks, ground impact damage would be further increased by amount equivalent to 25% of Furina's max HP. When any of the attacks mentioned previously hit an opponent, all nearby characters in the party will consume 1% of their current HP. During the duration of each instance of Center of Attention, the above effects can be triggered up to 6 times. Center of Attention will end when its effects have triggered 6 times and when the duration expires. Oh my god, that's a mouthful. I have to explain the first part of that. Every time you use Furina's skill, you get the Center of Attention buff, which lasts for 10 seconds. All of her normal attacks, charge attacks, and punching attacks, not including the Thorn and the Blade that she gets when she does a normal attack, it will cause different effects after hitting opponent every 0.1 seconds, which is basically nothing, depending on her current arc alignment. But the buffs she gets if you're in the OC alignment, every 1 second all nearby characters in the party will be healed at 4% of Furina's max HP for a duration of 2.9 seconds, and triggering this effect again, which is pretty easy to trigger because all you have to do is hit the enemy with Furina's normal attacks, charge attacks, punching attacks, and it'll trigger this effect again, and it'll extend the duration, which I'm assuming will extend it by another 2.9 seconds. But if you're in the Pneuma alignment, the amount of damage you do when it comes to your normal attack, charge attack, and punching attacks, not including the Thorn and the Blades, like I said before, will be increased by 25% of Furina's max HP. And when any of those attacks hit an opponent, their normal attacks, charge attacks, or punching attacks, not including the Thorns and Blades, all nearby characters in the party will consume 1% of that HP. It's also helpful because when it comes to Furina's elemental burst, if there's a change in your HP, she gets fanfare points, so that also helps getting fanfare points. You can only trigger the buff effects 6 times, and after 6 times, Center of Attention ends or when the duration expires. So hopefully that makes it a little more easier to understand, because the way they word all these things and how long it is, it makes it so confusing. My god, like this is like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or like Fire Emblem Heroes of wording, like oh my goodness, man. If you guys are still confused on how C6 works, I'll definitely try my best to explain in the comment section below. But the most part, it seems pretty good. Basically, you kind of get a damage increase and you kind of get more healing, and also having the C6 allows Furina to get more fanfare points a little bit easier. Yeah, now that we finally got through her constellation, oh my god. Let's talk about what type of weapon you might want to use for her. Now, as before, Furina is scale off of HP. You kind of want to have an HP percentage weapon. Like obviously, Furina's best weapon is her actual weapon, like most characters. But yeah, for most of us, we don't have Furina's weapon, and we don't want to pull on the scam that is known as the weapon banner.
What is it, Peterson?
I'm not sure. I feel a disturbance.
Alright, so I realized I don't have a single HP percentage weapons. I remember that they haven't really been releasing any HP percentage weapons, or HP percentage swords anyway. I think there's like one, but I don't have it. Honestly, I don't really have any good weapons that I think is really good for Furina, other than like some of the elemental like recharge weapons, I guess. Favonia's sword, it also increases the amount of energy she gets, so it makes it a lot easier to burst. Another one I'm kind of thinking of is the black sword, which increases the damage she does by 20%, but also it regenerates 60% of attack as HP. So she gets HP back when using the sword. As you guys know, Furina's kit is kind of big on the difference between HPs, like increasing and decreasing HPs. So this allows me to kind of heal, which also allows me to get more fanfare points. I feel like the black sword, what I have right now, seems pretty good. If you guys don't have a battle pass, then maybe I would consider using an energy recharge weapon like the Favonia sword. But also the skill of the weapon matters as well. So I definitely don't know if there's any like battle weapons for Furina out there. But when it comes to artifacts you want to run on her, these are what people are using. Apparently Golden Trope is the one people are using the most. It's like 91.8%, which is kind of crazy. Everything else is like not even 1%. So let's see what this set is. So with a 2-piece set, increases elemental skill damage by 20%. When it comes to Furina, her main usage is her skill because of her summons and whatnot. So yeah, I can see why that's really popular. And with a 4-piece set, increases elemental skill damage by additional 25%. Additionally, when not on the field, elemental skill damage will be further increased an extra 25% if she's not on the field. It's kind of crazy. This effect will be cleared 2 seconds after taking the field. So you put her back in the field and you don't get her out in 2 seconds, this effect will be gone until you take it out of the field again, in which will come back, I guess. Yeah, basically this increases her skill damage by 70% when she's not on the field. That's crazy. I can see why people are using this. This is really good for Furina if you want her to be like a off-field damage dealer, I guess. If you want Furina to be a healer, I want to use this one. And for combination 2, she basically gets the elemental skill damage by 20%, and she also gets an extra energy recharge by 20%, which I mean, it's okay. It's really only good if you don't have enough energy recharge to keep up her burst. And as for combination 3, increase the HP by 20%, and then elemental skill damage by 20%. So this is good if you want to get more HP, you want to reach that like 40,000 threshold to get that extra buff from her talents, as well as just increasing her damage. But yeah, overall, this is way better for sure. This is what you want to use. You want Furina to be like an off-field DPS character, but you want Furina to be a healer. I'll probably run like a healing artifact. For example, maybe something like this Ocean Heal Clam. This is like a really good healing set, so you might want to use that. You want Furina to be a healer, or you can use the Maiden Blood that you want her to be a healer as well. Personally, for me, I'll be running the Golden Trope. I want her to do damage, because I'll probably be running a healer with Furina anyway, so I don't want her to be a healer. But if you guys want Furina to be a healer, then I'll probably run the Ocean Heal Clam or the Maiden Below. But with Furina, you don't really want to run her as a healer. Like, you want her to be a off-field DPS buffer character. If you guys want to run Furina as a healer, you guys can. When it comes to Genshin Impact, you can like do a whole bunch of different builds for every character. Like, you don't have to run a character a certain way. Even though they kind of lean towards Furina being an off-field DPS buffer character and somewhat of a healer, you can do whatever you want for Furina. That's the beauty of Genshin Impact. There is no right way of playing a character, so that's why I don't really like doing the recommended artifacts and like the recommended weapons, because the weapon you want to run and artifacts you want to run really depends on how you want to play a character. I can tell you what weapons, what artifacts to run. It wouldn't really work if you don't want to play Furina that way. If you guys want to play Furina, I guess, the correct way, then you want to run the Golden Trope. If you guys want to play Furina a different way, I recommend like reading what type of artifacts there are in the game and figuring out how to build around that, I guess. But anyways, with all that out of the way, let's try out Furina. Let's go fight some enemies really quick. So when it comes to what teams you run with Furina, you probably want to run a healer with Furina. If I were to run a Bloom team with Furina, I'd probably throw in Kokomi instead of Nilou. Nilou's technically better for a Bloom team. I don't really think running a Bloom team with Furina is really that great, but I'm just running a Bloom team because I like the Bloom team and it's fun. And Explosion might cause a better thumbnail, so that's why I'm running a Bloom team. But yeah, you want to run Furina with a healer for sure. Like I said before, when it comes to Furina, she has two forms, the Pneuma form and the Ostia form. So right now I'm in the Ostia form. It is her base form, but I use a charge attack. She changes forms. As you see right here, she has longer hair and she has the frills now. Oh yeah, well I guess her frills kind of change. Yeah, like one is dark blue, one is white. Biggest indicator is her hair for sure. And also a skill. The skill is also the biggest indicator. But I use the skill right now. You guys see her summons or whatnot. But if I... Oh my god, they're attacking enemies. Like, dang it. But if I switch... You guys see right here? This is like the healing one. So if I switch it to a character... It heals. And I guess it only heals the active character on the field. Yeah, it doesn't heal the entire party, unfortunately. But unless I get extra healing, which in case it heals everybody else in the party. And her bubble also does damage as well when you use a skill, which I think it only applies when she's in the Ostia form. I don't know. Because they didn't really show off the bubbles when using a skill. I tried again. Yeah, right there. You guys see? I think it only applies when she's in the Ostia form. When you use a skill, she has like a bubble as initial attack. And yeah, when it comes to Furina's Elemental Burst, we do that and then we'll increase our HP. So I'm gonna Kokomi, I'm gonna heal up. And right here, I should be getting some more fanfare points. And maybe you can tell you get fanfare points with like the pop-up on the bottom, maybe. You guys will see like the members kind of pop up. I think that's when you get the fanfare points. But yeah, I kind of want to test out the thorns and the blades and see how that works. Yeah, you see right there? Yeah, so like the blade pop up. So kind of like Xinqiu's and Yelan's skill. Like a blade kind of pops up every 6 seconds. Yeah, right there. That's cool. I did not know that. Alright, so let's try playing Furina with the Bloom team. See how that works. Okay, nothing too crazy. When it comes to Furina, I don't think she really works too well with the Bloom team. Alright, so let's try it again. So we do this. So yeah, like the synergy when it comes to the Bloom team is not really that great. I've never tried running Furina with a Pyro team or maybe like a freezing team. Maybe that's pretty good. I don't know. I know that running Furina with Novalet's pretty good, but I don't have Novalet, so I can't really show them off. Also, it doesn't really help that my Furina is kind of weak. I had no artifacts on it at all. Oh my god, Furina's dead, no! Like, what's cool about Furina's skills is that someone just follows her, which is cool. It's kind of having like more pets, I guess. And also with a skill, like before she can like walk on water. So it's really cool, and it lasts forever too, which is great. It makes exploring so much easier. But yeah, let's try out the Bloom team one time, see if it gets any better. But it does kind of work. Like, you can run Furina with Bloom Team. It's not really the greatest. Maybe another thing I could have done is maybe switch out Kokomi for Nilou and then find someone else for like Nahida. Well, I don't know. Nahida's pretty good for a Bloom Team as well. But maybe like a Dendro healer. Like, you can swap out like the Dendro Traveler for like a Dendro healer. Or you swap out Nahida for a Dendro healer. I don't know. Up to you guys. But anyways, kind of this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hope this video was able to help you guys out a little bit and kind of learning how to play Furina. I definitely learned a lot about Furina that I didn't really know. I mostly found out Furina's skills are very long. They're like Yu-Gi-Oh card explanation. And also like very confusing. There's so many numbers and stuff like that. So if I got anything wrong, definitely let me know in the comment section below on what I got wrong. And also if you got any questions on how Furina works, leave a comment down below as well and I'll try my best to answer those questions. And I still remember how she works anyway. If you guys want Genshin Impact idiots guides on how to play whatever character, definitely hit the like subscribe button and plan on doing more of them in the future. The next character I think I'm doing is gonna be Shiori or Arc, whatever her name is. The new girl that's coming out. I think I might do her. We'll see. It might take a little bit because I have to build her first. I don't want to not be able to build her and I can't really show off correctly. It's probably gonna be those two. If not, then I have no idea. I don't think Navia maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But if you guys are interested in my Genshin Impact videos, I'll upload them every single Saturday. So that's the time to check out my channel if you're interested. But that's pretty cool right there. I did not see that before. I didn't really explore Fontaine too much, but that's really cool. Like a giant ice cube in the sky. Anyways, comment, hopefully you guys enjoyed. And yeah, thanks for watching. And I'll see you guys later.